What if I told you a truck driver cracked the code to building a crypto empire? Meet Bitcoin Ben. He went from driving 18-wheelers to creating 6 different ways for regular people to stack Bitcoin and build wealth. This isn't just another crypto course. This is a complete ecosystem where you earn while you learn. First up, the confidential bulk purchase program. Get Bitcoin at wholesale prices through group buying power. Then there's Home to HODL. Convert your home equity directly into Bitcoin instead of cash. Need funding? The Loans for Bitcoin program gets you the capital to buy more crypto. Want passive income? Private Key Capital puts your Bitcoin to work. Hungry for something different? Bitcoin Ben's tokenized beef lets you invest in real cattle backed by blockchain technology. And if you want to mine? Bitcoin Ben's mining program gets you started with the right equipment and knowledge. But here's the kicker. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club pays you to learn. Earn 10% on direct referrals, 5% on second level, 2% on third level. This might be the only membership where you make more than you pay. Ben went from 10 years behind the wheel to becoming the world's most unlikely crypto expert. Now he's sharing everything through live training, community events, and proven systems that work. Ready to stop watching from the sidelines? Join Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club today and start stacking sats while building your financial future. Your truck driving days are over. Your crypto empire starts now.
I don't know why this is not working. It was just working a second ago. The speakers aren't on. They're not on. No audio. Hold on. I don't understand why the audio's not working. No audio. It's working right now. Yeah, it's working.
Now I'm back. Sorry, guys. Okay. And we're live, and you can hear us. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world, Bitcoin Ben, here for round 2 of the Is Our Sound On? We're good. Okay. All right. Like I said, we've reached a point right now where it is fundamental that you realize where we're at. The price is the least impressive thing you should be looking at. Now, the reason you watch this show is very simple, because my job is to look at the whole environment of the Bitcoin and the whole global environment of the Bitcoin. This is what you guys need to realize what's happening right now. Everyone's looking at the price and going, oh, we're at $96,000. Why are we going down? You have to wrap your heads around. The big boys, the big money, they don't buy on Coinbase. They do not buy on Kraken. Well, a few of them buy on Kraken, but what they're doing is they're accumulating on smaller exchanges so they don't affect the price. And when they do actually buy using Coinbase or Kraken or I don't know, like Binance, it's small purchases. It's accumulative purchases. And that's, you have to realize they aren't heading out and saying, all right, we have $180 million. Let's smash, buy a bunch of Bitcoin. No, it's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That's what Michael Saylor has explained last week, is they actually buy it every day, 24 hours a day. And the amount that they actually buy is linked with the volume of the buying. So they accumulate at a lower value or at a lower volume so that they don't push the price up. This is the game of the big boys. This is why I tell everyone retail, most of the people who watch my show are just like me. We're retail. We hop on Coinbase, we hop on Binance, we hop on Cash App, we hop on, like PayPal, and we buy up some Bitcoin. Well, what we really need to realize is Michael Saylor and a lot of other entities, they are dollar cost averaging every few minutes. This isn't, okay, it's Tuesday, 11 o'clock, let's purchase some Bitcoin. No, they have software that reads the algorithm, reads the chart, and adjusts whenever it drops, they buy a little bit more. Then it reaches a level of volume that they slow down their buying. Then it drops a little, they buy a little bit more. It's all about volume. And what I want, hang on one second, Red Bull. What I want everyone to realize is this is just the beginning. They don't care about the price in the long run, because Michael Saylor is not going to sell all his Bitcoin next week and capture the gains. He's selling the dollars to get the Bitcoin. He doesn't value the dollars. He values the Bitcoin. Now, like I said earlier, Harvard University, one of the most prestigious and the largest endowments in the world, their largest holdings is Michael Saylor's shares. Think about that. They hold more shares of Michael Saylor's company than anything else on their portfolio. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because they think it's going to go down and it's going to be devalued? And if you know where the price of his shares are at, they know it's all upside. And they accumulate more. That's what they've done. And remember, Michael Saylor, about a month ago, he finally received a credit rating for his company. Now, those of you who aren't really in this world, you're like, oh, okay, cool. He has a credit rating. But what you don't realize is 90% of the market could not purchase his shares because he didn't have a credit rating. It doesn't matter if it's a good one or a bad one or a kind of in the middle one. It's that he is a rated entity. And if it has a rating, you can then allocate a certain percentage of your portfolio into that rating class. Remember, we are with the big boys now. And everyone's like, oh, $96,000. Is this the bottom? Guys, I'll tell you what, if you really want to know what the very absolute bottom is, the dollar. You want to talk about losing value? That's the dollar. The only thing that props up the dollar is it's the global currency of the world. That's it. It's only that it's accepted everywhere. If you're over in Europe and you have US dollars, you're good. You're in Africa, you have US dollars, you're good. It's the adoption. It's the availability. And the availability of the Bitcoin is going up. And I've said this for years, guys. We're going to reach a point on a limited supply. Remember, the Bitcoin is limited supply. So there's only so much Michael Saylor can buy. Now, he could buy all of it. Absolutely. Well, I mean, not all of it available. But he can never purchase more than 21 million Bitcoin. Not possible. And what we need to realize is everyone knows the dollar's dying. The Federal Reserve is trying to keep the dollar on life support. That's what the interest rate adjustments are. Because we actually think, oh, the unemployment rate is high because of the economy. You're partially right. But the reason the unemployment rate is high, the real cause is the dollar. Because everyone is trying to adjust to the fluctuations and the depreciation of the dollar. And you see it. I see it. Guys, you go to McDonald's and an average an average meal at McDonald's is like $11 now. It used to be $3.99. And if you wanted it supersized, it was about $4.99. It's $11 or $12. It's unaffordable. But they can't lower the price because of the dollar. The dollar losing value has eliminated their ability to lower prices. The inflation has eroded their profit margins. And as it erodes their profit margin because they accumulate money, then they go out and like, all right, we need more hamburger. Shit, it went up 6% from last month. So they got to have hamburger, so they buy more hamburger. They get more cheese. They get more fries. Then it reaches a point, which we're already at, where they're like, okay, this meat shit's getting expensive. Can we find an alternative that is a lower price, but kind of looks like meat, kind of tastes like meat? That's the dollar. Our economy, our real world pocketbook economy, I mean your checking account, your savings account, it is getting killed if you're keeping it in dollars. Because if you hold the dollar, you have 0% chance of appreciating purchasing price or appreciating purchasing power. None. When you go to work today and the money you earn today, if you hold it past a month, you've wasted half hour of your time at work. Maybe not a half hour, maybe 15 minutes. We're reaching a point, like I've said on the show. Hang on a second. I need some Red Bull. A little bit of Red Bull and a little coffee kicker. Cheers, Ed. Hey, as of January of this year, every 100 days, we were going $1 trillion more in debt. Every 100 days. Now it's November. Now it's every 63 days, we go $1 trillion into debt more. 63 days. We went from 100 days to 63 days. Because the more we owe, the more we have to pay. And that's why they're trying to lower the interest rates. Because if the interest rates go up on our debt at the same time that our debt is rising, guys, look it up. That's Zimbabwe. That's what happens. You reach a point where it goes quicker and quicker and quicker because it's accumulating, appreciating, compounding debt. So you borrow more and the interest rate goes up, so you owe more on that debt, which raises the amount of your debt, which means your interest rate hurts you more the higher your debt goes up. And if the interest rate is growing while the amount you owe is growing, that's where we go from 100 days to 63 days. That's that appreciation shown on a calendar. That's all that is. And as it goes up quicker, because that's why we heard earlier this week, if you listen to the Federal Reserve people, they're like, oh, yeah, we probably won't lower interest rates in December. If they don't lower interest rates, and if they're signaling that they're not going to lower interest rates, that's them choosing the dollar over the people. Because if you don't lower interest rates, you get less liquidity. If you have less liquidity, you have less economic, right? You have less economic activity. And if you have less economic activity, we go into a recession. Technically, we have been in a recession for 2 years. And that recession is actually being driven by our interest rates and our debt. Remember, we went from 0% interest rates very quickly up to about 7%. Well, 4.8 or something like that on the federal rate. That is critical. That is so critical that you realize how quickly they did that. The reason they moved so quickly was that the dollar was actually being devalued, that we saw as inflation. So prices went up. So they had to raise the interest rate because a lot of that currency was going into eggs and bacon and all of what we use on a daily basis. Now, that said, they're juggling right now, keeping the dollar alive and keeping prices low on what we live on every day. That's why that's why everyone in the crypto economy, you have to realize what Trump is doing. He's trying to set it up because no matter what happens, the inflation's coming, guys. There's a huge wave out in the ocean, and it's coming, and it's coming fast. What Trump is trying to do is set it up where cryptos can absorb a lot of that inflation and keep it away from your eggs. That's what he's trying to do. That and as he does that, he knows if he has legislation that says every American can hold some Bitcoin in their 401k. Michael Saylor just front ran the federal government by 5 years. Because what happened at his place is exactly what is going on with the Federal Reserve and the U.S. as a whole right now. His company wasn't as productive as it should have been. Or he was pretty well maxed out on what his corporation could make. And he looked out into the future and he's like, all right, I got $500 million worth of cash that is losing value at about 10% each year. I need to roll this into the most attractive whatever and save the purchasing power of the dollars I've accumulated. He looked around, he saw Bitcoin. That's exactly what Trump is looking at. All right, we have a lot of inflation about to roll in. There's nothing we can do about it. There's too many derivative values. There's too many leveraged everything that we are going to have to print a shit ton of money. So how as a U.S. government, if you're in a ton of debt, but you have to print a bunch of money that you know will actually cause inflation, how do you devalue your debt while you're printing money? You push it into an asset that will appreciate at a higher level than the interest on your debt. That's the game. But Trump is not unlike Joe Biden. And this might sound weird. They were going to implement this too, except they were going to leave out the little guys. They wanted to control the Bitcoin that the U.S. had. They wanted to accumulate it, but yet not let the people accumulate it. Joe Biden was going to buy Bitcoin, but he was not going to allow the American people to buy the Bitcoin, or at least not make it easy, because his view is exactly what they did in 1933. Everyone, turn in your gold, turn in your gold, turn in your gold. Well, what is kind of that same thing? No one can buy Bitcoin. No one can buy Bitcoin is the same as turn in your gold, turn in your gold. You're not allowed to get wealthy with the new reevaluation of the gold. That's what they did in 1933. Hey guys, everyone bring us your gold. If you don't, you're a criminal. You're a criminal if you own gold. As soon as they got as much as they could, they revalued it. What if they would have revalued it when everyone held their own gold? A lot more people would have gotten wealthier. Trump is actually doing the opposite of 1933. He's going around and he's saying, hold on to your Bitcoin, get more Bitcoin, invest in Bitcoin, and then he'll revalue it. That's what the left doesn't like. They're not anti-Bitcoin. A ton of lefties own Bitcoin. Trust me on that. They just didn't want to lose the power of the leverage of labor. See, as much as the left says, oh, this is we're for the people. We're for the people. Motherfuckers, if you loved the people, you wouldn't say, we're going to open up a grocery store for you. What they would say is, we're going to give you more economic power. We are going to share the wealth, not by taxing the rich, but teaching you how to become wealthy, how to accumulate value, how to offer value. they want you looking to them for the power. Because when someone says, we're going to open a grocery store for you, that's them saying, we know you can't make it on your own. Come to our grocery store. We will help feed you. My grandfather used to always say, he who feeds you controls you. And that's absolutely true. And that's where we're at, guys. I'm telling you now, this is and I'll use the word, there's a huge conspiracy by a bunch of wealthy people and governments to make you feel depressed, make you feel worried, make you feel like, oh man, the prices went down a little bit. But yet Michael Saylor just purchased 8,100 and something Bitcoin. Do you think that he's feeling bearish? Hell no. He's just getting started. That's why he put out on X like a week ago or something, and all it said, buy now. That's it. Because he knows. Guys, this is Michael fucking Saylor. This guy doesn't live in a closet. Everyone who is anyone in the Bitcoin world knows and listens to Michael Saylor, and they tell him shit because they want his advice. Hey, yo, Mike, I'm thinking about doing this, and I can kind of take like the Bitcoin and I can put it into real estate. How do you think Grant Cardone got into, I own a bunch of property. Every time I buy a property, I'm going to get a slightly larger loan. I'm going to take that loan value, buy Bitcoin. Then every month that everyone pays their rent, I'm going to buy Bitcoin with that. Who do you think explained how to do that? Who do you think helped him do it? They just put out an interview. Michael Saylor helped him set that up. This is a billionaire helping a billionaire, and the billionaire going, yep, I'm going to completely change my organization, and I'm going to include using actual Bitcoin as an asset inside of my real estate company. A billionaire and a billionaire are pretty good at making fucking money, wouldn't you say? I would, like my grandfather used to say, never take advice about money from anyone who has less than you do. So, while you're watching X and you have all of these crypto people who aren't in the industry, all right, I run a company that is in the industry. It's completely different if you just buy and hold. When you own a company in the business, you have to know what's going on in the business. You have to know, is the supply chain running good? Is the supply chain, which is miners, is that supply chain growing or is it shrinking? Are they producing less? What's going on? That's why I'm launching my mining company. Right now, as you can see, I'm up in Massachusetts. I'm leaving here. I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to go to Nashville, then head over to St. Louis for a couple days. Then I'm going to Texas. While I'm in Texas, I'm meeting with people about the mining company I'm launching in January, or I'm rolling. I'm getting set up in January. And if you want to know why I'm setting it up in January, because if I do it now, I will have tax liability this year. Where if I launch it in January, the company won't have tax liability for 2 years. That's it. This is how you plan out a business. Is you look at your liabilities and you adjust your calendar. Do you know why the price of the Bitcoin's really going down? Because number one, we're no longer in a 4-year cycle. We outgrew that shit. Let me explain very simply. From the age of 1 until you're about 17, you grow a lot in that short period of time. That's why whenever you see like your nephew, it's like, damn, I saw you last year. You've grown 6 inches. Yes, that's the same thing. But at a certain age, you quit growing at such a rapid rate. Because that's how life is. That's how the world works. And now we're in a place where the big boys are playing, and the Bitcoin is at such a size now. It's exactly like a football player, right? If you're a little, let's say you're a quarterback, you probably eat about 2,500 calories each day. That's the energy you have to ingest into yourself so that you have energy and you don't really lose weight, but you don't gain weight. That's your healthy playing weight. Now, you actually take a lineman who's 300 and whatever pounds. That guy eats 14,000 calories a day. Why? Because he's bigger, which means he requires ingesting more energy. What you should look at with the price of the Bitcoin is that, holy shit, we are still at $96,000. That's what you should look at. Guys, think about it. This year alone, since January until now, more in dollar value worth of actual friggin' Bitcoin was sold this year. $800 billion was sold this year. That's the largest dollar value ever in the history of Bitcoin. And we are still at $96,000. You take any other commodity and you put that much sales into it, it's gonna drop like a rock. There's a lot more people that are buying right now than anyone realizes, because they play the volume game. Lower volume, you buy more. That drops the price, you buy more. Then when volume comes up, you wait. And the price will go up a little bit. Then you wait for the volume to drop. You buy more. Price drops a little bit. You buy more. Looks like people are buying again. All right, back off. All right, volume's back down. You buy a little bit more. You buy a little. That's how the big boys do it. And it's all through software. That's it. While you and I are sitting there watching going, no, wow, $96,000. It's really dropped. The rich people are like, hell yeah. Because they know how the game works. The average retail person doesn't. They just look at the overall price and go, it's going down. People must be selling a lot. People are buying a lot. And they're using different volumes to manipulate the price. When you want to actually buy a lot over, say, a week, you don't buy it all at once. You nibble at the price and you look at the volume. And if volume is dropping, you nibble a little bit more because that volume is dropping, which means if you buy a little bit more, it will push the price a little bit lower. I know that sounds weird. So they're buying more, but the price is going down. Yes, because they are at what you have exchange prices, right? This software looks at the lowest price on whatever exchange, and they are looking for an exchange with low volume. And the software will go over there and go, all right, I'm going to buy a little bit from Kraken. This volume looks good. Oh, wait. The volume's going up. Oh, all right. Let's go over here. All right, I'm going to buy here. I'm going to buy here. I'm going to buy. They do what you do not have time to do. They are accumulating on every little exchange that has any Bitcoin on it. Because those exchanges have a completely different weight than something like Coinbase. And when I say weight, what I mean is, all right, right now, if we look at the price of the Bitcoin, it's at whatever, like $96,000. Well, what actually gives us that price? Is it exactly 96,145 and blah, 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 whatever? Everywhere? No, that's an average price over all of the exchanges that report to your wallet. And every wallet has completely different points that they actually get a price from. Now, almost everyone uses Coinbase. So they weight that as more important than some little shit exchange. So if you look on Coinbase and you're like, all right, it's $96,000 exactly, but over here on little shit exchange, it's $95,600. Their software will buy it at that lower price until that lower price goes up, because it can actually go up on that exchange and never affect the overall uniformly agreed on price. So that price on that little exchange will actually go up, but the overall general price won't, because that exchange doesn't have the same weight or oomph or influence on the price. Where if everyone hops on fucking Coinbase Coinbase and they're buying on Coinbase, the price will shoot up because that has more weight, because it has a larger user base. This is a game, guys. This is a game that the wealthy play. You and I, we never played this game. That's why I've never, ever, and never will be a trader. Because there's, especially now with all of the bots and all of the software you can buy where it kind of captures a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. Yeah, you kind of make a little money here. You kind of screw all that. I am a buy and hold. I am an earn and hold. Because I don't want to play a game that I don't know the fucking rules to. And in this game, now that we're playing with the big boys, and with a lot of them, it isn't evil. It is they're trying to get the best price, just like you when you buy your Bitcoin. Unless you're like me, where you, whenever you have a little bit of money, you buy some Bitcoin. You don't really look at the price. They're there to accumulate as many as they can. And Michael Saylor just reached a point where his shares are now available over in Europe. They're, all over Europe. And now he has a credit rating, which means about 60% of the global market can now purchase his shares. Prior to that, it was about 10%. He's in a whole different ballpark. And we are talking 401k money weekly, where a certain portion every week of the fund will go into his shares. Like I said earlier, Harvard, their largest holding is his shares. Do you know why? Because they see more appreciation in his shares. And remember, Harvard Law, Harvard endowment cannot hold actual Bitcoin yet. Once we get the Clarity Act worked out, they will. And they'll hold it just like Texas A&M holds a bunch of gold. Guys, don't let the price fool you. All you're seeing is a bunch of wealthy people getting set up for a massive rally. And we live day by day. Do you think Michael Saylor, and nothing against Mike, do you think Michael Saylor is sitting at his house right now going, boy, I hope I can pay rent this month? No. The reason a lot of retail is nervous is they're closer to the cliff than Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor ain't nowhere near a cliff. He can't even see the fucking cliff. Average Joes and average chains, they live on the cliff, especially in this economy. So you have people who own hopefully a lot, or at least relatively some Bitcoin, and the global and U.S. economy is so bad that living on the edge, it isn't your actions that are going to actually push you off the edge of the cliff. It's the government and the economy that's going to push you off the cliff. And all you all are actually doing is just trying to get a little bit further away from the cliff. While you have inflation pushing you closer to the cliff. You have inflation rising, but your pay's not rising. So every time inflation rises, you get a little bit closer to the cliff. And then you get a second job. And you're like, okay, all right, if I work at Uber at night, then I can get some money and that'll get me a little bit further away from the cliff. And then inflation continues, where you reach a point where your regular job and your job working over at Uber, all of a sudden you're right by the cliff again. And you're like, what the fuck? I got two jobs. How the hell am I right by this fucking cliff again? Because the dollar is pushing you towards the cliff. Because when it actually goes off the cliff, it takes all of us with it. And that's what that's what a lot of people, including me, I'm trying to save you from the cliff. Because whenever you purchase whenever you go out and you buy up more and more Bitcoin, the cliff gets a little bit longer because it's accumulating assets. And this is what I want you to really recognize. I want you to look at what you hold in the Bitcoin. That's an emergency fund that you don't have to sell. You have an asset that now that we're growing, you can now actually borrow against your Bitcoin. Let me explain. If you own a home and whatever happens, you got this big health emergency or your car breaks down or whatever, you can actually get a short, small loan against the equity in your home if you have equity. The Bitcoin's different. It is all equity. As soon as you own it, it's 100% equity, unlike your house. Let that sink in. As soon as you own the Bitcoin, you have 100% equity in that Bitcoin. And if you run into an emergency or something, you can get a little loan against your Bitcoin without having to sell it. And it's equity rich, unlike your house, which the only reason you have equity in your house is either you have paid off for 20 or 30 years and now you've reached a point where you have equity, or prices in your area has risen so high that now you have what is actually called perceived equity. You haven't realized it. It isn't in your wallet, but it's out there in the ether. Unlike the Bitcoin. It's not out there in the ether. It's in your wallet, and it's 100% capital. It's 100% equity. And if the price of your friggin' Bitcoin goes up, your property taxes don't go up with it. You have a house, they revalue your house. Oh, you used to pay $3,000 in taxes, now you're paying $5,000. Well, where are you supposed to actually receive that extra $2,000 from? Is your house making you money? If it's not, that $2,000 comes out of the already allocated for wages you make or income you bring in, and it pops out of nowhere. It's them assessing your taxes on an assumed value out in the fucking ether. So they're taxing you on something that you may never be able to capitalize on. This is what makes it so completely different. Because this is your lifeboat. Prior to this, it was your house. And if you got a loan against your house and something really bad went wrong, you lost your house. Now, I hope this never happens, but if you have like $8,000 worth of Bitcoin and an emergency happens and you're like, shit, damn it, I got to pay this. I got to get the car fixed. I don't want to sell my bit. I'll get a loan against it. I'll get a loan against my Bitcoin. And then a larger emergency happens and you can't make that loan payment. Number one, it doesn't go against your credit. They just cash out your actual Bitcoin and they pay the loan. So yes, you may have lost a little bit of your Bitcoin, but you didn't lose your fucking house. You still got a roof under your head. You have your head under a roof. You know what I mean. That's what this is evolving into, is an asset that is 100% equity. We've never had anything like that. Ever. And what makes it so revolutionary is you have 100% equity in a market that you can sell $100,000 worth of Bitcoin in all of about 40 seconds. Try to sell $100,000 of your home equity, which means get a home equity loan for $100,000. I guarantee it ain't going to take you 40 seconds. It's going to take you maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month. That's the difference between liquid capital and non-liquid capital. It's how quick you can sell it if you need to, or how quick can you get a loan against it. It's like that. Everyone eventually is going to own the Bitcoin. This is not me hoping and praying. This is not me, oh geez, I hope everyone buys Bitcoin. They will buy it out of necessity because we are entering into a deflationary period. We have AI, we have robotics. Housing prices are going to drop in the future, not because of any other reason except ease and affordability of replacement. Unless you have a house like Ed's. Ed's is an old, beautiful fucking Victorian house. It's gonna be a while before a robot can really rebuild his house cheaper. But regular housing is gonna get cheap because they have machines rolling out. They exist right now that will print up a house in 7 days. That's 7 days, folks. Needless to say, guys, get some Bitcoin. Look under here. We have our telephone number right under here. I think it's 941-413-8080. Thank you, Ed. You're like, ooh. All right, give us a call or send us a text and say, Ben, how can I get more Bitcoin? That's it. We have tons of options to get you more Bitcoin. We can actually do a home equity loan, that imaginary ether, equity, and we can actually turn that equity into Bitcoin, where once that's realizing the equity value into an appreciating asset. That's the smartest. That's why Michael Saylor keeps saying people should get home loans and buy Bitcoin, because he knows what I know, what you all hopefully know, is this is only getting bigger, guys. When Harvard owns the largest amount of shares in their portfolio, it's a Bitcoin company. Let you know. Get some more Bitcoin. Give us a call. Telephone number is right under here. 941, one more time, Eddie. 413-8080. 941-413-8080. There we go. Love you guys. Everyone have a great day. And it's a little chilly up in Massachusetts. Hope it's warmer where you are. Love you guys. I'll see you in Nashville later on this week. Bye-bye.
Your Bitcoin sitting idle. Time to make it work. Private Key Capital, the world's first fully Bitcoin-backed financial institution, lets you earn 4% APY on your Bitcoin. Enjoy Bitcoin savings accounts, secure custody, Bitcoin-backed loans, fiat on-off ramps, and exclusive member benefits. This is crypto banking reimagined. Early members get the best rates. Join Private Key Capital today and start earning 4%.